Lifetime is canceling Gypsy Rose after this season. He wants people to believe that she's saying it's over, she doesn't want to be filmed. Lifetime is canceling her show, not the other way around. Now, the real tea is, if she's being canceled, allegedly, how do you think this is going to end? Y'all, this is where the juicy part comes, because I'm starting to think Melissa Moore is really going to turn on her, because how else are they going to end this season? The internet knows that she's lying. We've all read the book. We've seen the conflicts. Melissa Moore is looking really crazy for even publishing it.
Gypsy Rose Blanchard has been a topic of public fascination for years, and now her reality show on Lifetime is coming to an unexpected and controversial end. The series, titled Life After Lockup, was meant to capture Gypsy's life after her release from prison, a glimpse into her journey of reintegration, relationships, and struggles. However, Lifetime has announced that the show will not continue past its second season. Gypsy herself has claimed that this decision aligns with her desire to step away from the public eye and focus on her growing family.
Show is finishing filming. She says this will be her last season. Blanchard wants to disconnect and plan her exit from the public eye. That off-ramping including backing away from her public social media accounts, which she says she only uses for promotion these days, as well as raising her daughter, whom she and Ken Urker plan to name Aurora. She eventually wants to get her own place and be closer to Ken Urker, who lives in Dallas. Blanchard is also taking driver's education, which terrifies her. Use our thinking caps. If this was a year ago, how would she say she was naming her daughter Aurora and it was with Ken? She wasn't even out of prison this time last year. Ken moved back to Dallas. That's why she's saying this will be her last season, because Lifetime is canceling her. Use your thinking caps. It says it right there. I don't understand why it's hard to comprehend.
But is that the real reason? Many believe the answer is far more complex. Let's take a deeper look at why Lifetime might have decided to end their partnership with Gypsy, and how this move reflects broader issues with the series and its reception. When Life After Lockup premiered, it seemed like a surefire hit for Lifetime. The network has a long history of producing gripping and emotionally charged content, and Gypsy Rose's story appeared to be the perfect fit for their programming. Gypsy's life had already captured widespread public attention, from the harrowing abuse she endured under her mother Didi Blanchard to the shocking revelation of her role in Didi's murder. With such a controversial and layered backstory, the anticipation surrounding her reality show was immense. Audiences were eager to see how Gypsy would navigate life outside of prison and handle the complexities of her relationships, both old and new. When the first season aired in June, the show drew significant attention and seemed poised to become a major success. It promised a deep dive into Gypsy's transition from the confines of prison to the challenges of the real world. Adding intrigue was her personal life. Gypsy had recently divorced her husband, Ryan Anderson, whom she had married while still behind bars. Not long after, she rekindled a romance with her former fiancé, Ken Urker, whom she had also been engaged to during her incarceration. This dramatic love triangle was paired with Gypsy's broader journey of reintegration into society, which many saw as a potential goldmine for a compelling reality TV. However, despite the promising premise and initial buzz, the show quickly began to falter. Viewers were soon vocal about their dissatisfaction, criticizing the series for feeling overly scripted and contrived. Many accused Lifetime of attempting to manipulate the narrative, portraying Ryan as the villain in Gypsy's story while casting Gypsy's questionable decisions, such as her affair with Ken, in a more sympathetic light.
See, the thing is, when you're dealing with narcissistic people, it has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them and their insecurities and who they are as a person. Not only will narcissists basically use you, abuse you, and discard you, they'll do it in a manner that it'll have you questioning yourself. Then they'll villainize you. And that's exactly what took place. So did you mean anything? Yes. But to her? No, because nobody does.
This portrayal of Ryan as a toxic partner led to significant backlash when he publicly shared his side of the story. Offering a drastically different perspective, Ryan's revelations painted Gypsy in a far less favorable light, causing a shift in public sentiment. Many began to question the authenticity of Gypsy's accounts and the ethics of Lifetime's storytelling choices. The fallout from these criticisms marked a turning point for Life After Lockup, What had initially seemed like a promising exploration of Gypsy's post-prison life devolved into a polarizing spectacle. Lifetime's decision to adopt a one-sided approach to the narrative alienated a portion of its audience, raising concerns about the integrity and motives behind the series. For a network that prided itself on dramatic but relatable storytelling, this misstep was significant, casting doubt on its ability to handle such a complex and sensitive subject matter. One of the main criticisms of Life After Lockup was that it completely missed the mark with Lifetime's core audience. Lifetime has built its reputation on telling compelling stories that resonate with women and families, often offering inspiration or valuable lessons. Yet Gypsy's series failed to meet these expectations, leaving viewers disappointed and even disillusioned with the network's direction. Instead of delivering a story of growth, redemption, or resilience, the show appeared to glorify toxic relationships and perpetuate negativity. This portrayal left many viewers feeling alienated, and the backlash against the series was swift and relentless.
Now, the real tea is, if she's being canceled, allegedly, how do you think this is going to end? Y'all, this is where the juicy part comes, because I'm starting to think Melissa Moore is really going to turn on her, because how else are they going to end this season? The internet knows that she's lying. We've all read the book. We've seen the conflicts. Melissa Moore is looking really crazy for even publishing it. Do you guys not think that she's going to be exposed? I don't know for sure, but I would say that they are. And that might be why they really want to say, oh, creators are bullying her, blah, 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 to make it known like this girl takes no accountability. So I'm still going to speculate the same thing. I do believe Melissa Moore is going to expose her, or Lifetime on a whole is going to expose her. Because if this is the last season, they're going to have to make a reason. And it can't just be, oh, she's going to go live her life. Because after this book, she has really exposed herself.
A major sticking point for audiences was the show's over-reliance on sensationalism. From the very beginning, Lifetime seemed more interested in capitalizing on Gypsy's controversial past than in providing an honest or thoughtful exploration of her life. Social media links spoiled several key plot points, stripping the show of its element of surprise. The lack of genuine storytelling became a glaring issue, further fueled by Lifetime's decision to frame Gypsy as a victim, not only of her mother's abuse, but also of relentless online criticism. While the first claim has its basis in fact, the second left audiences skeptical. Many felt this narrative twist was a contravened attempt to elicit sympathy and deflect criticism, rather than an accurate reflection of reality. The skepticism deepened when it became clear how far Lifetime was willing to go to support this victim narrative. Reports suggest that the network had approached content creators who had been vocal critics of Gypsy, requesting permission to use their videos as part of the show.
I honestly don't feel like Lifetime is going to flip on Gypsy. They are currently emailing creators and asking to use their content for the show, but they did this for the last season as well. And Lifetime is currently emailing creators again to use their content for next season. They did email me as well. This time, I'm thinking about it more. So basically last season, they said that they wanted to use our content to basically show how social media was reacting and responding to Gypsy's release. I think they used 4 of my videos total from TikTok, but they don't play the video in its entirety. It'll be like a 4-second clip and it will be multiple people. And no, they didn't pay us for it, or at least they didn't pay me. This was just the first time like a major network had asked to use my content, so I was excited about it. I thought I would get some exposure, so I just agreed to it. And now for this season, they're emailing asking if they can use our content, and this time I'm giving it more pause and more thought as to if I want to allow them to use it, because number one, I think it's crappy that they're not paying us for it. Like, it's our content, and we all know that Gypsy's making a crap ton of money from the show, so it's like, you can't at least pay us. But I think for those of us that have been following her ever since her release, we're just tired of the BS at this point. So I don't know, I'm still undecided on if I'm going to do it this season.
The intention was to portray these creators as antagonists as part of a wider campaign of bullying against Gypsy. However, this move backfired spectacularly. Many creators refused to participate, accusing Lifetime of twisting their work and distorting their intentions. Audiences picked up on this controversy, further eroding trust in the network's motives. Adding to the outrage was the ethical question of whether Lifetime's platforming of Gypsy was appropriate in the first place. Although Gypsy was initially presented as a victim of her mother's abuse, Public opinion began to shift as more details emerged about her active role in planning Didi's murder. For many viewers, this cast doubt on Lifetime's decision to portray Gypsy in a sympathetic light. It felt less like an honest exploration of a complex individual, more like an attempt to exploit her notoriety for ratings. This perception of exploitation only intensified as the series progressed, with each episode reinforcing the idea that Lifetime prioritized sensationalism over substance. Ultimately, the backlash against Life After Lockup wasn't just about the show itself. It was about the reflection of a deeper disappointment with Lifetime's choices. For a network that had long been associated with quality storytelling and relatable content, this venture into shallow, controversy-driven programming felt like a betrayal to its audience. Viewers weren't just criticizing the show, they were questioning Lifetime's integrity as a whole. Lifetime's efforts to salvage the series for its second season appear to have backfired spectacularly. Following the harsh critiques of Season 1, the network made a noticeable shift in their approach, aiming for a more dramatic and sensational narrative. One notable instance involved filming Gypsy at a meet-and-greet event at a New Orleans bookstore, which coincided with a vigil held by protesters in memory of her late mother, Didi Blanchard. Reporters soon emerged accusing Lifetime's crew of aggressively pursuing interviews with the protesters, often without their consent, in an attempt to craft a storyline portraying Gypsy as a target of public hostility.
I'm going to be so sick of her. I'll never want to hear about her again. This book is disgusting. It's full of lies. It's full of manipulation. She doesn't mention anything that she does that would discredit anything that she says. She leaves out a lot of details that we all know is missing in the book. But basically, she starts out the chapter with her being in prison. She's eating a Pop-Tart, she's eating breakfast, and she's thinking about all the things that she can experience now that she gets to live her life.
This tactic was seen as exploitative and deeply unethical. Such strategies alienated even more viewers. Many perceived this as a calculated ploy to manipulate the narrative and elicit sympathy for Gypsy. Critics contended that Lifetime was not only complicit in spreading misinformation, but also actively working to paint Gypsy as a victim of relentless bullying. However, much of the public scrutiny directed at Gypsy stemmed from her own actions and well-documented past, rather than unwarranted hostility. This disconnect between Lifetime's portrayal and reality only fueled skepticism about the network's motive. The network's attempts to frame Gypsy as a victim of a hostile world felt disingenuous to many. This not only disappointed loyal viewers but also contributed to the growing narrative that Lifetime was prioritizing dramatic manipulation over honest storytelling, causing even further damage to the brand's integrity. It's clear that Lifetime's association with Gypsy Rose Blanchard has done more harm than good for the network. Initially, the partnership seemed like a bold move, an opportunity to tap into a wildly discussed story and attract a new wave of viewers.
More people are speaking out about the contradictions in that book than we ever thought before, right? And then there's all this stuff going on, and then everybody wants justice for Didi, justice for Nick. And the fact that she used a man with autism and a low IQ that was collecting a permanent disability check, yeah, that doesn't look too good at all. But you know what I did see, y'all? There's some real tea time, and I think this is hilarious.
However, the outcome has been the opposite of what Lifetime likely envisioned. While the first season of Life After Lockup drew some attention due to sheer curiosity about Gypsy's post-prison life, it ultimately failed to meet audience expectations. The show was heavily criticized for its lack of authenticity and perceived glorification of toxic behavior. This, coupled with Lifetime's controversial portrayal of Gypsy's personal struggles, alienated a significant portion of their audience. By the time the second season was announced, the damage was already done. The novelty of Gypsy's story had worn off, and many viewers either lost interest or actively chose to boycott the series. Social media was flooded with posts calling out Lifetime for prioritizing sensationalism over genuine storytelling. Instead of retrivializing the network, Life After Lockup became a symbol of Lifetime's missteps. This controversy came at a particularly difficult time for the network, as its overall viewership had been steadily declining for years. Rather than bolstering their brand, their collaboration with Gypsy further tarnished it. leading to widespread criticism, even calls for a complete boycott of Lifetime programming. The backlash reached a point where Lifetime's reputation as a trusted source of meaningful, relatable content was called into question. For a network that had long prided itself on creating shows that resonated with women and families, the negative reception of Life After Lockup represented a significant blow. The decision to align with Gypsy, a polarizing figure, only highlighted Lifetime's increasing resilience on shock, value, and controversy, rather than the high-quality storytelling that once defined its brand. Given all these factors, it's no surprise that Lifetime has decided to part ways with Gypsy after season 2. While Gypsy claims she wants to step away from the spotlight to focus on her family, the reality likely involves a combination of factors. For one, the network's declining viewership and damaged reputation makes it untenable to continue their partnership with such a polarizing figure. Additionally, the financial performance of Gypsy's show likely didn't meet expectations, making it a poor investment moving forward. This pattern of backlash against Gypsy's allies underscores how polarizing her story remains. Even beyond Lifetime, it's clear that associating with Gypsy carries significant risks. Her past and the public's perception of her continue to overshadow any attempts to rehabilitate her image. For Lifetime, the decision to end their collaboration may be a necessary step to avoid further damage. As Lifetime concludes its relationship with Gypsy, questions remain about her future. Will she truly step away from the public eye, or will she seek other opportunities to share her story? And how will the public respond to her next moves? Only time will tell. What do you think? Was this a decision driven by Gypsy's desire for privacy, or was it Lifetime's attempt to cut its losses? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated on the latest developments.